What's good with everyone? This is your boy DJ's Raw and Cut Truth. I got my boy Gibson on the line. Glad to have you. Some basketball common sense in the building. We're going to talk about the 2021 draft class that's coming up next year. Uh, it's been very hyped and been propped up by a lot of experts. But I want to ask Gibson, do you think this 2021 class is the real deal, or is it overboard, marketed? Is it talked about too much, too
Yes,
early?
yes. No, sorry. Yes and no. I think definitely the top players in this draft are like I think going to be better than what the 2020 draft gives. But I'm just saying like three dudes. I'm not saying every. I'm saying like Cade Cunningham is an obvious like top talent. Mobley might struggle with strength in his first year. And Suggs is going to be a good player, but he'd have to go to a certain team to show that talent.
Very interesting. The thing about Suggs, he picked the right team to play with. By
Yeah.
him electing to go to Gonzaga, he's surrounded by veteran players that can shoot, and he's surrounded by a versatile big man, Drew Tyne
Yeah.
from Texas, whose stock is, growing steadily, and you have Mark Few coaching him. So he has the right surroundings of honing this game. When
Mm-hmm.
you watch Gonzaga play, they're very fundamental. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're a point guard, that's the perfect team to play for in college.
Yeah. Like so that's kind of where I'm like with Cade, he's clearly would be a top one number one point guard in 2020 draft, and it would not be a bad decision. Mobley, he'd be a top one point guard in 2020 draft, and I don't think it would be a great decision, but it'd be all right because he'd make up for it with his playmaking and his okay defense. With Suggs, he'd be a top one point guard like player in 2020 draft, and I think that would be a bad mistake.
Yeah, people forget Anthony Edwards, before he was classified, destroyed the I mean, he destroyed the competition that we're all boosting up in the 2021 draft class. And they may be better than Anthony Edwards. There's a good chance, especially Cade Cunningham.
No,
Um,
no, okay, nah, he's better.
yeah, I know he's better. I'm trying to be nice. Here's what I like about Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham controls the pace of the game.
Yeah.
Uh, very cerebral, and it's so easy for him. He gets a double double so easily, and he could easily score 40 points a game. You could tell he could shoot the three, the mid range. I seen him do a NBA style turn away fadeaway, and I knew
Oh,
then I was like, oh, he's definitely ready for the league.
the NBA, he did that while the defender was like literally up in his face.
Yeah,
That he's just different. Like, and he does it in such a calm way where it doesn't feel like You're like maybe he should. For me, when I watch the game, I'm like, no, he needs the ball all the time. I'm tired of seeing you with the ball, this guy with the ball. Give him the ball. You want a guaranteed win.
yeah. I feel the same way when I watch Oklahoma State play.
Yeah.
Uh, he's he's literally playing unselfish. He has a great bond with his teammates. It looks like, so he's trying to give them some good looks and let them have some shine. But as you know, the Big 12 is very difficult this year. You got Kansas, who is really good. Baylor, who's the number two team in the whole nation. Texas
Yeah.
Tech is always good. Texas.
Yeah, talking about Texas Tech. There's this guy I really like, in Kai Jones.
Kai Jones played for Texas.
Yeah, Texas. Yeah, Texas, not Texas Tech. Longhorns, Texas Longhorns.
Oh yeah,
Kai
Kai
Jones.
Jones.
I really like his game. He could shoot. He can defend. I don't like how they give him minutes and how they try to, put how they play him. But because I think he's like the best player on the team. Second best, maybe in the eyes of what they think he is. Maybe Coleman is like the point guard. I guess, but I just like him. Who's the other player?
Greg Jones.
Greg Jones. Oh no, it's Greg Jones and Kai Love. Sorry, I got them all mixed up. Greg Jones, I'm not high on. The amount of hype he was getting, I'm not. I don't see it.
Brother, he looks very raw out there. Like the athleticism, the talent is there. It's
Yeah,
just not all put together. And you're right. Kai Jones he's looking like the best player on the
yeah,
team.
Kai Love. Kai Love. Sorry.
No, his last name is Jones.
Oh shit! How many Joneses are in there?
Man, Texas got a bunch of Jones, man.
No, yeah. So yeah, with Kai Jones, it's like his defense is. He's not only athletic. He's big. Like I'm looking at him, like, that's a big dude, and he could shoot the three. And he's not getting the ball all the time like I would like, but he's a reliable player, I think. BJ Boston from Kentucky, who was also hyped as this number one guy who would go to the 2020 draft. I don't see that at all, like even a bit.
No, he's been disappointing. Kentucky has been the most disappointing team all year. They don't play as one. It's lethargic basketball, and a lot of people are going to blame Coach Calipari, rightfully so. But I got to be honest. The problem is the point guard position. I'm not sold on Andrew Askew.
At all.
You see, the Texas Longhorns have something that Kentucky doesn't. The Texas Longhorns have a point guard in Matt Coleman, and even though Matt Coleman doesn't look like a lottery pick or anything, he's a veteran.
He's reliable.
Hmm. And let me have a correction on the show. I made an error. Greg Brown.
Greg Brown.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
the freshman, Greg Brown.
there we go. I made that error too. I'm just names mixed up all over the place. I watched so
Yeah,
much
but we
college.
did get the Kai Jones right. We did get that right.
Oh, like listen, DJ, I'm mixing up names because I'm about to try to. This is betting season now for me, so I'm just watching all these goddamn people.
Oh yeah.
But like Suggs, another guy who I think should be a top 5 pick, but is getting too much hype being number one pick. He's not a number one player,
No,
and
he's not better than Cade Cunningham. I've been trying to tell people that they didn't want to listen to me. Uh, they think I'm just. Everybody knows my favorite player out of the young guys is Lamelo Ball, but even I would admit that Cade Cunningham is the better prospect.
yeah,
It's,
there's no question marks in this game.
no, he has no question. He has no weaknesses.
Like,
I was looking for a week. I watched him play 4 games because I got the Big 12 network because I'm from Texas. So,
yeah,
I always watch the Big 12 games. All the 4 games I watched Cade Cunningham, I'm literally looking for a weakness. I could not find one.
I
He
mean, I
had,
don't. Yeah, I'll be a little bit of nitpick. I don't think he's going to be great defensively in the league like a Ben Simmons. I don't think his ball handling ability is amazing, but like everything, his game, he doesn't need that to be great. So oh, man, he's just so good. I don't even know what to say about it. It's so good. But yeah, Suggs seems like a guy who, if he were on a bad team, I don't think we would be looking at him the same way. But he is a dog. Like I think he is a Alonzo level player in the league, except
right.
he can dribble. Like I think he's going to be of that caliber, where he'll be your fourth best player on the team.
And brother, we cannot forget about the G League players in Jalen Green and Jonathan Kumunga. We
Ah,
can't forget about those players, man.
I'm about to say this. I'm high on Kamoku. I'm not high on Jalen Green.
Oh, hey, I'm going to say something to blow you away.
What?
Jalen Green, because they were trying to say that Jalen Green is Kobe light, right? He's not Kobe Bryant, but he's like a poor man version of Kobe. I don't believe that. I think Jalen Green plays like Eddie Jones. They used to play for the Lakers back in the day.
Mm. But yeah, I think Jalen Green is benefiting from getting pro help because I think his game is very ISO heavy, like just getting his buckets using pure athleticism. And I think being able to play with G League pro basketball players, it allows for him to develop a more nuances. That shit works in high school. Like BJ Boston is a prime example of how that shit works in high school, but it doesn't work when you play higher levels.
No, it does not work when you play higher levels. Um, uh, Another player that I've been watching because I'm a Tar Heel fan, as you know,
Mm-hmm.
for years. Florida State's in the ACC, and Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes has defensive potential to be very elite in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
He has the tools.
Oh man, who's that other Scotty? Because
Scotty Lewis,
Scotty Lewis. Oh, he doesn't
Florida.
FSU on Florida State.
No. Scotty Lewis is in Florida. Scotty Barnes at Florida State.
Oh, Scotty Barnes. We agree on Scotty Barnes then. Like I think not enough hype is given to him. I mean, I'm okay. There's a little bit. It's in and out because there's some people who are giving him too much hype for simple ass passes he's made in the first game he played. But like, he is a real defender with a big body who can make plays. That is very big on my play. I like players like him. Dependable type of player. I don't think he's a star player in the NBA, but I think he's a guy on a championship team you would want.
Oh, absolutely. Now they have some sleepers in this class. Jared Butler from Baylor. I like his game, man. And he's a junior. If he was a freshman, he probably would have had more respect. But he's a he's a young junior. He just turned 20,
Mm-hmm.
and he could shoot the rock, man. He could literally shoot that rock. He reminds me of what you call a young George Hill that can shoot, and that can keep him in the NBA for a long time.
You see that this is what I'm gonna say, DJ. I think people misconstrue this as the best draft, and I think this is a safer draft. I don't
Yes,
think this is a great draft. This isn't 2013. This is just a safer draft.
absolutely. That's all it is.
Yeah, I mean, because like with how much we defend 2020, we could also say like, yeah, there's a lot of like criticism that can be made off the top players, which I don't think 2021 will go through. But I think a lot of people are overhyping the shit out of 2021. Like it's the goats are gonna come out of nowhere. Like there's only like one all-star player that I see in this whole draft.
That's
Only
crazy, man. And you know what's funny about 2020, the draft in 2020, that is, there was so much exaggerating, saying this is the worst draft since 2013. But if you're looking at how the rookies are doing in training camps, they're receiving some rave reviews. Not just Lamelo Ball.
yeah,
RJ Hampton is looking good for the Nuggets.
Killian
Uh,
Hayes.
Killian Hayes is looking good. Uh,
Uh,
Isaac Okoro is looking like a stout defender already.
Williams with the Bulls.
Yeah. Patrick
Like,
Williams, the one that they criticized on, is
I,
looking really good.
you know what I think it is? It's I don't because you know it's funny. I hear these scouts, these same scouts who shitted on 2020. They said we need to wait for these players to see what they are in March, and then we can. And I'm like, hold up. How can you make these crazy criticisms of 2020 draft when they didn't have a March? But then you're like, let's wait for these kids for their March. It's like you can't do that. You have to be equal about it, right?
Yeah.
Criticizing like you were talking all that good shit on 2021, 20. And I'll keep it real. Like I'm gonna say this. Of course, 2021 draft. I think I it might be better than 2020. But to act like you're for sure no is cockiness in itself. It's like I don't know about that.
I had a friend DM me. He said, "Man, the 2020 draft is better than I thought." He was listing down of the rave reviews, like I said, of each prospect that's doing well, not just Lamelo and company, but there's some players in the teens that are doing well, better than expected. And I think this draft class is motivated. Let's be honest, due to COVID-19, they didn't get their fair share of scouting. They didn't have a March Madness. Um, a lot of star players in this draft did not team up like teams are doing this year.
And DJ, it's also I don't think it's a weak draft. I think it's people are put in the wrong areas.
Yeah.
Like Tyrese Maxey would be, if they had more time to watch him, he'd be a top 10.
Oh, absolutely.
Ray Lewis would be a top 5 in this draft. I think it's just that people overthought and put people in the wrong positions. So because of that, they see this draft as weak, and it's not weak. It's just you made the wrong mistakes.
You know what I found out about Kiera Lewis? Kiera Lewis, if he was playing in college this year, he would have been a 19-year-old junior. This is how young he was. His birthday's in April, and he's born in 2001.
Yeah,
This is how it's like he pretty much it's like he skipped up a year and 3 quarters, pretty much.
yeah. And I'm gonna say this: 2021 draft has a lot of players that trick everybody every single fucking year. They're athletic, big body players, and we always go, "This is the next star."
Oh yeah.
And every time you make this mistake, we say, "This guy, he's a big, long wing. He's this and that," and we hype the shit up out of him because how valuable wings are. And then he doesn't shoot well. He becomes a Kendrick Williams, and then we all fall for it. He's a great defender type, but he can't do anything offensively for you. And I
Absolutely,
feel,
man.
hmm?
I say absolutely. I agree with you.
And I think this is that draft. Like, I think Jalen Johnson is all right. I do think he's an all right player because he showed some really amazing blocks in that 1919 game. If you just looked at stats, is amazing. But if you actually watch the game, it was a lot of him just getting like easy rebounds, that defensive rebounds. I mean, I need to see him play a team with a capable big man to be able
Right.
to make judgments. Also, it helps that he has a whack ass player alongside him on his front court, who's Matthew Hurt, which I apologize for having even thinking he would be a first round pick.
We all make mistakes, man. But I was watching Scotty Lewis from Florida, not Florida State, but Florida,
Yeah.
uh, playing. He's one of those players when he figures it out. I think he'll blossom. I think he can be a really good NBA player. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not trying to exaggerate. I'm just seeing his skill level, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying it because he's wearing a number 23 and he's looking like a North Carolina version of Michael Jordan. I'm not saying that, but his athleticism, his grit, his fierce play. He just attacks, attacks, attacks. Um, I have a good feeling about him. Whether he comes out this year or next year,
Mm-hmm.
he may be one of those late bloomers.
Yeah. This I'm saying this draft makes me realize how great 2018 was from the top. For the top, DeAndre,
Hmm.
um, the center from the Suns,
Yeah,
Jared Jackson, no, JJJ from Grizzlies. I don't know his whole full name. Um,
yeah, Jaren Jackson.
Jared Jackson Jr.
Yep.
He's a talented big body player who can like shoot, stretch the floor. He's a talent. Trey Young, all of these players are like it's 2018 was that draft. Um, I don't know about the bottom or the middle of that draft, but it was a good draft. And who did the Knicks take?
In 2018, they took then they
Kevin.
took, yeah, Kevin Knox.
Fucking gosh, dog. The Knicks, the fucking Knicks,
What's wrong
dude.
with your Knicks, man?
Listen. Here's the funny thing. there is nothing to criticize them extremely on this preseason. This preseason wasn't a nightmare like most. The problem is that Knicks fans are so used to nightmare preseasons that this smart play preseason got people going like, oh yeah, we got a second round pick. I'm like, why do we start valuing picks so much when we have players now that need help?
It's
Like,
crazy, man.
like I'm gonna say this right now. RJ Barrett is gonna be better. I know this. Mitchell Robinson, I don't think is going to get a very good look from like with the coaching staff and not having a fucking point guard who can make simple alley hoop passes. I'm hearing rumors from like a lot of Knicks guys that DSJ might take the leading point guard role in the Knicks. And I'm going to be honest, as much as I'm not a fan of Frank. I'm overly not a fan of DSJ. Like, so if he starts, my eyes are going to bleed.
Oh man.
Like, like the thing that I hate is that there's so many DSG fans who are like, "Yo, man, he's gonna be this guy. He's gonna be." Listen, he can't dribble a goddamn ball. He can't pass. He can't shoot. His athleticism is, for some reason, his whole game is gone, and he could dunk. I'm like, there's nothing that he brings to me. He's not even a great defender. Like at least with Frank, I could like go like, oh, he's a great defender and he can pass the ball, sorta. Fucking God, I don't.
Man. And I really get tired of the Knicks fans saying um that RJ Barrett is the best player in the team and not Mitchell Robinson. Anyone who knows basketball knows that Mitchell Robinson is the best player of the team. He has the most potential. If he was on the trade block, a lot of elite teams would do everything they can to get a player like him. I'm serious. So
I kind of want him gone. I want him gone now. I'm gonna be honest because if we can't figure that fucking point guard situation out this year, then it just hurts his money. That's the reason he's been firing a bunch of agents. I don't think he wants to be there.
I don't think so either.
Like, like I don't think for a guy of his value, like he's a dude who's like 6'1", who's the most athletic center in the NBA. Like I'm not even hyping that shit up. If you watch the games, he is the most. His double jumps when he can like make after a jump, he just comes right after. He's fast. He can play perimeter defense. He is the type of big that you want on your team. And I think the Knicks are squandering this shit because they brought in Nerlens Noel, and I already know what that means. People are like, "Oh no, they brought in him to be, to teach the young player." No, they didn't bring him in to do that. They brought him in as insurance.
Right on. No, I agree.
And
It's not, the Knicks are not playing anybody. I know what
the
they're doing.
and DJ and the Knicks are the only team that try their best not to play their young players. The only team who will go out of the way to not play their like when you had Frank, and yes, Frank's not good, but when you play Ray Felton, who's gonna retire next year in a losing season over Frank, come on, you're already losing. What's the point? Or having just Randall playing on the court with fucking RJ. It's just one of those things where it's like, what are we doing? Todd Gibson start over Mitch. What are we doing? Alfred Payton is still on this team. It's disease. It's a disease. It's disgusting, DJ. And the thing that gets me is everyone's like becoming all of a sudden becoming this mathematician, becoming these like roster like people. Well, if you look at it here, they still leave themselves with cap space for the next year. Or if you look at it here, we have more picks than we had before. And I'm like, why is everyone forgetting that these players are not? This is not 2K. These
Yeah.
players have emotions and want to win. And if you create this dead, non-progress type team, I don't give a fuck if you have picks. They're gonna want to leave.
Brother, I don't get how the NBA and and bad teams in general, how they do stupid stuff like this. The Knicks have been doing this for 2 decades now, and they're going on 2 decade plus. What are they trying to be, my brother?
I'll say this: the Knicks haven't done this recent stuff over the decades. I don't think this is helping, but this is a whole new Knicks. The old Knicks would do something like getting a bunch of 30-year-old vets and try to get to the playoffs. This Knicks obviously knows they're not going to win, but then they bring a coach who is about in Thibs, who is about trying to win, and who plays veteran players no matter what. I don't trust him.
Yeah, you can't trust some of these. Oh man,
My guys.
it's it's really sad, man. It's really sad. Now I want the Knicks to do well. I know we just joking and talking about their organization, but they're trying. I think they'll play hard. You know, Thibodeau is a man that preaches tough defense and effort, so you know they're not going to lack in that. I just think the offense is going to be lethargic. When you don't
I,
have a point guard, that's what happens.
I'll say this: Thibodeau's been the best coach we had over like four coaches. I think he's a good coach. I just don't think where this team is. I don't think the philosophy fits to what we need to do. It's not about how bad if he's a bad or good. I just don't think the philosophy of playing our young players and trying to grow with them is what he's about. Like they're already having talks about playing Randall and Obi together. I will
Oh
vomit
no,
in my mouth. If first of all, I'm gonna vomit. These two dudes, Obi and Randall, are both bad defensively, and you're gonna have Obi play the three and Randall play the four or maybe small ball five. Stop. That's
in the
the
wise words of Shaquille O'Neal, barbecue chicken on
food.
defense.
Food. Like I said, I'm dead serious. I will post a picture of $1,000 and show myself betting, going to Meadowlands in New Jersey and putting that thousand on every Knicks game anti-spread. That's how bad they are. I'm
Mm.
dead serious. I'm dead serious. I'm gonna make it a campaign, DJ. I'm gonna do it every back to back. Make those bets.
I mean, it's nothing against Randall. It just Randall needs to go to a different team.
Yeah,
Um, and I like Randall. You know, he's a Texas guy, and he did average almost 20 and 10. So he ain't no scrub. It just is not a good fit for him. He needs to go to a team where he has more freedom to do what he. You know how Randall is. He wants to dribble the ball and do all that stuff. And I don't think the Knicks are a good fit for him.
at all. At all, man. It's
Oh, brother, I'm sorry, man. This just dawned on me. Speaking of coaches, what the hell is Dwayne Casey doing with Killian Hayes? First, he said he's a starter, and then he says, "Well, for now, until maybe he loses his spot or something like that." What's the point of drafting a player like Killian Hayes if you're not giving him the keys?
no, I think he's gonna give him the keys, but like I don't like. Here's what I found very weird: is anytime he ever was asked like, "What do you think about Killian?" He says, I think it was the second time he said, "Yeah, Killian Hayes is gonna be a starter for now." Like saying for now and then saying things like, "But I can pull it back anytime." That to me smells like a equals will not play through mistakes. I can tell you because here's the thing: they have a healthy Blake Black, they have Derrick Rose. So in Dwayne Casey's mind, he wants to sort of win. They don't have a bad team, so he's not gonna like if Killian Hayes makes any mistakes or multiple like the four mistakes in a row, he's gonna just say sit the fuck down. So it's up to Killian Hayes to be great day one.
Well, the good thing I heard from the Detroit Pistons camp is that they've had Killian Hayes go right the whole time in training camp. That's only going to make him better. We
That
all know that he's left-handed dominant.
DJ, that's what you like to hear. Is you don't like to hear the empty words about this player is doing great. You like to hear that someone's actually working on weaknesses that they know. Because that's one of the reasons why Killian Hayes wasn't like a top 3 pick in this year's draft. And they're working on that. So they're really invested in him, I think.
I think so too. I think that was the player they wanted all along. That's why they didn't want to trade up for Lamelo. There's nothing against Lamelo, but the fact that you don't have to give up too much to get the point guard you want, that's a win-win.
DJ, look, I'm gonna be real with you. I honestly, the trade scenarios that I was making in my head for like the top 3 picks and the rumors, none of those were true. The Wolves wanted way more than what I thought they wanted. Way more. They were not settling for like win now, okay players. They wanted a star player.
Yeah.
And that was it. Hornets were not gonna ever trade up. I don't like. They weren't doing that shit.
No, this is what the Hornets were going to do, and I've been saying that on my videos, as you've seen. I was telling people that the Hornets don't have to trade up because they view the top 3 equally. I truly feel that Mitch Kupchak views Anthony Edwards, James Wiseman, and Lamelo Ball equally, and they were going to take a talented player, one of the 3.
Yeah.
Mitch Kupchak said it on this interview on the draft a couple weeks ago that they knew that they were going to get someone that they viewed as a number 1 pick. All 3 of them had a number 1 grade from the Hornets, so they just sat back. They didn't have to trade up for anyone.
Yeah, you know what? I got to get at this, and this is coming to the LaMelo situation. I hate when haters, when they have something hateful to say, and then you criticize them, they call you a LaMelo stan. Like anytime you come with a rebuttal, they'll be like, "Man, you just making excuses for your player, LaMelo stan." Here's one of the reasons. I saw Sweetniece,
St. Meeks.
St. Meese had to literally get at it with a few of these guys. One of these dudes was basically going on this whole thing about like how LaMelo didn't play any real competition. You know what I'm saying? And so he was like, "What are you talking about?" So the guy brought up Brandon Jennings, which if you actually knew Brandon Jennings, he didn't even get that many minutes when he was playing with the team. But he was like, "Oh, he played players like this and that who are better than at the NBL." And then St. Neats pointed out that this guy only averaged 1.7 points in the NBA. So it's not like he was that great. So like they got into it, and then who was an NBL Terrence Ferguson? They brought up Terrence Ferguson as like, well, Terrence Ferguson came from the NBL and how he ended up being great. Terrence Ferguson didn't get any minutes in the NBL. So why are you bringing them up as examples?
Well, you know what's crazy? LaMelo did play former NBA players that were in the NBL, like just and players that are going to the NBA now, like R.J. Hampton and Jashawn Tate. So it's not like he was playing against scrubs. And don't forget, the NBL is one of the few leagues with hand checking.
Yeah.
So LaMelo was getting roughed up. I remember he got clotheslined, and that would be a flagrant NBA. But since it's the NBL, they just let it go and call it a standard foul. That's how physical that league is.
Yeah, not even that. Like, remember when who's the guy from who's a Pelicans player but who plays in the NBL? Who's a part of the game?
The Brazilian guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that guy.
yeah, the dude jumped in LaMelo's shooting path and it was called a flop.
I
And
remember that.
LaMelo got the foul for flopping. Total difference than the NBA. Like, and the thing that gets me is like when we talk about setting screens and playing a pro type game, the NBL is better than that than college. Like watching college basketball is the most nauseating shit. Even because I know I have to bet on these things. College basketball is the nastiest basketball I've ever watched. Dudes who try to dribble, who can't fucking dribble, fall over themselves, can't play real good defense. There's a few point guards who can't really pass, and a lot of passing the ball west to east instead of north to south.
Yeah, it's been annoying, man. College basketball has been very sloppy this year. I'm noticing that, and the only disciplined team I've seen is Gonzaga. Baylor, they're a great
Wisconsin,
team. They're a great team. Wisconsin too, but Baylor's a great team. But they're more disciplined on defense than they are on offense.
yeah, and a team that I always laugh at for being really good defensive team, but a shit offensive team, Virginia Tech.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They are the most goofiest team I have ever watched.
Yeah, they're all over the place. I watched them the other day. I was like, man, this team gives you a heart attack if you're a fan of Virginia Tech.
Yeah. I bet if there's ever a big spread over 10 with Virginia Tech, bet on it. Because they are one of those teams that keeps it close with even bad teams.
Oh yeah.
Jesus, man. It's hilarious. It's always, when people say these players are more athletic. Here's where I do give it. There are a lot more athletic players in college than I say the NBL, only because there's more kids there, but they don't know how to use it. Like I see them falling when anytime they have to go for a block, they push their whole body on the guy for a layup. They're not even playing smart. It's not smart at all, basketball. So I mean, like, who cares? Lamelo would have probably got more fouls. He would have probably got more shooting percentage. I don't think he would have struggled in college at all.
No, I don't think so either. Can you imagine if LaMelo played at USC with Big O? He would average a double double.
I mean, yeah, that was one of them. Exactly. He would have easily made it. That would have been great for Lamelo if he went to the USC because he would have had a fucking center who can actually dunk and hit free throws.
And catch the ball mainly.
Yeah, yeah, like against weak ass talent. Because the Pacific League is whack. Like he would have been facing Arizona with Nico Mannion and who
Barbecue
UCLA.
chicken.
Like it would have been food for him. It wasn't like they were playing Cotton, Mellow Tremble or Houghton, who would have just got easy buckets on them.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? A lot of shines were just criticizing the NBL, but a lot of these players like Bryce Cotton and Melo Trimble, they were stars for their college. They may not pan out in the NBA, but when they were in college, they were the man.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, like the team that Lamelo was facing, who had a bench player in the Lakers when Lonzo was there, he was like the assist leader. I think in the year he was out of college.
Scott Machado.
Yeah, so I don't like. Why is it that everyone starts to suck when they leave college all of a sudden? That college is this monster league, but anytime people leave, they're not good anymore.
You know what's crazy? Scott Machado, when he was in college, he was like Houdini on the court. No matter if he played against Power Five teams or low Power Five teams, he was the man. And all of a sudden, just because he didn't last long in the NBA, they're talking about, oh, that's nothing. That was just a backup player. But he destroyed everybody in college.
And here's the thing. I think the only thing I could say that I don't know how LaMelo would react to the NBA is the bigs. Like I think the NBL, what it is lacking is like good, really good centers. So that could be where we start realizing what it is. But anything else, I'm like, college, like, I think the thing is, I think there's a lot of like, even Rashad himself had this problem. You know, Rashad, what's his name?
Phillips.
Phillips. He knows so much more than basketball than any of us. The thing I think he made the mistake is he doesn't really know a lot of EuroLeague prospects. He said it during interview when he was talking about Luka. He said I made that mistake because I wasn't really educated on a lot of the EuroLeague prospects, and he just thought he was one of those other guys. And he was the only one who could tell the truth. But I think a lot of guys like him, those '90s era guys, those people who are around the 80s, they have that mindset where they don't think of the every other parts of the world as developing basketball, getting good. They still think of them as mediocre talents. So when they talk about it, you have people like, who's the guy you talked to? Who said you did cocaine, some shit? High level. What is this guy? Uh,
Ricky G,
Ricky
coach.
G. Ricky G is the pure example of this. He watches a lot of AAU basketball. He knows a lot about American prospects, but you ask him anything out of this country, and he kind of whips it away as some bullshit if it's not the EuroLeague.
Yeah,
So
he was talking about speed and international players lacking speed, and Lamelo having played speed players, fast players, and he's forgetting the part that in high school he played against players that will be in this draft, that was in this draft or will be in the draft next year. He's also trained with elite pros this whole time in Detroit. And you mean to tell me he don't know how to handle speed? And look at him in this video. I know it's a couple of clips, but Lamelo Ball is running at a great pace from what I've seen. And I'm not saying he's gonna be the most perfect prospect. He's gonna make mistakes. He's a rookie, but
yeah,
I'm not gonna say he's not gonna make plays. It's just that's dumb.
and this is the reason why, because I hate it. I hate having to be like having to be side to side with like actual stands. You get what I'm saying? Like there
Yeah.
are stands on Twitter who I have to go like, no, you're just saying stupid shit. Let me have my conversation with this guy. You know?
Mm.
Because the thing is, people like, especially Pelican Twitter, they feed off this. They say outrageous bullshit that doesn't even make sense. And then all these stands come out of nowhere and say outrageous bullshit. And then you got to go like, listen, Lonzo is not obviously Akeem Olajuwon or LeBron James, but he's a very valuable player who the only reason Zion was getting a lot of his buckets and wasn't waiting for fucking Drew Holiday to dribble out the fucking ball was because Lonzo was giving them during transition. But you can't say that because now you talked about their guy Drew Holiday and they automatically go in attack mode.
You know what's crazy, man? When the Pelican media brass and David Griffin and everybody else said, I really believe that Drew Holiday could be an MVP. You had people, stands of his, eating that up. And when we said that's not true, he's not the best player on the team. Bi is the best player of the team. We got hated on. They would bring up Lonzo when we never bring up Lonzo. It was very weird.
There was like non-related moments when there was a game that was going on that the Pelicans weren't even playing. Like De'Aaron Fox would have a good game. He was like, "Yeah, we should have got De'Aaron Fox." I was like, "Shut the fuck up! Where are you coming from with this?" Like, and the thing that got me mad, it wasn't even Lonzo's shit early in the year. It was the Bi stuff. Oh, Bi is not even better than Kendrick Williams. I was like, what the fuck? And the funny thing is, the offseason kind of vindicated us. The offseason, because no one wanted fucking Kendrick Williams. Frank Jackson was sold for like a cigarette. No, we got rid of like half these dudes. They got rid of half these dudes. They didn't want them because they weren't helping any winning.
No. And the good thing about Stan Van Gundy, he may not be the perfect coach, but he doesn't like, players like that, ball hogs, taking bad shots. And I'm glad they got rid of the lack of defensive players, the ball hogs, the Etwan Moores, the Jalil Okafors, the Frank Jacksons. Thank God. That was
And
just terrible.
and I'll be honest. And listen, if Lonzo doesn't show up well, it's fire. He's still a good bench player. Like he would be a great bench player. I think they would do better if he's a bench player. And this time, it's not an insult. Last year, when I was looking at the roster, that was an insult. This year, I could see it working out. And that's not. And but
And
it won't.
I'm gonna reserve that because what I've been hearing from some people about Lonzo's training with Clutch Sports. If he's gonna put up the season that I've been hearing about, then he probably could win Most Improved Player. I'm just basing off what I've been hearing, brother.
The way
Yeah,
he would have to win Most Improved Player, DJ, they'd have to be in the playoffs. They have to be in the playoffs. Because you can't have Bi win Most Improved Player and be a 20-something scorer, and then have Zion, and then have a Most Improved Player with those guys and not make the playoffs.
here's a way the Pelicans can make the playoffs, the eighth seed. Not even just Lonzo. Zion, if he's as in shape as what everybody thinks, he's unguardable. I truly feel that way. He was unguardable out of shape.
I'm gonna say this, DJ. The Grizzlies got a secret weapon. I don't think it's gonna be easy. With the Grizzlies just
Oh, you
added
talking about Desmond Bain?
no Xavier Tillman. That
Oh
man
yeah.
is big, and it ain't gonna be just he's just gonna bully everyone. Like the thing that the Grizzlies did this offseason is I think everyone's hyping up the Blazers and a few teams. No, the Grizzlies to me had a perfect offseason.
Yeah, the Grizzlies, no one talk. I can't believe they didn't get. The NBA got to be disappointed that they didn't get more TV games. The Grizzlies, John Moran is a dog. And
Right.
before Shines would come up in here and talk about, well, Lonzo gave him his worst game. Well, Lonzo is a top 10 defender. You can't blame John Morant for that.
Yeah.
But don't act like John Morant is not a better player than Zoe. Just don't do that. That doesn't make any damn sense. I don't care if Lonzo held him to his worst game all season.
Yeah.
John Morant's the better player. Until Lonzo comes out and scores almost 20 and have a double double or almost a triple double, we may have to say something.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna be prisoner of the moment. And that's what you're talking about, fans and stands. The worst thing about being a stan, you choose one game where the player goes off,
Yeah.
and you base that, oh, he's better than him. No.
I hate that. I hate that so much. And you know, the thing the like the West is like the East people are not talking about it. They're saying it's easy. How is it easy? If LaMelo is like great his first season, they still might not make the playoffs this year.
Yeah, the East has gotten better.
Like, okay, who are they gonna get over? Like maybe the Magic and the Pacers, but guess what? The Wizards just added like Westbrook. The Hawks are literally like a built team now. As much as people who hate the Hawks and like to just shit on Trae Young every time they are a good team now. They are a really good team now. So it's not easy this year.
No, it's not. But speaking of the Charlotte Hornets, I like what Mitch Kupchak is doing building their roster. I know they overpaid for Gordon Hayward, but hey, when you're a small market team, you're gonna have to overpay. That's just how it is. You know, it's just how the game goes. But I like that he's surrounded by shooters. We don't talk about this enough. Devontae Graham made 200 threes. He shoots 40+% from three. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, you got, I don't know what they're gonna do with like the starting lineup, but it's going to be interesting.
Here's the thing. LaMelo last year was reliable. I forgot it. That ball white guy, really tall ball white dude. He had that one reliable shooter with the Hawks.
Anderson.
Yeah, Anderson. And now he has a really, really good NBA shooter in Devontae Graham. PJ Washington, who can shoot an open shot. He has Gordon Hayward, who can make a mid range and shoot the three. He has Miles Bridges, who I don't know if Miles Bridges is great at shooting, but he can attempt.
He's a normal shooter. You don't leave him open. You know what I
So
mean?
yeah, LaMelo, there's no excuse for LaMelo. Unlike I could make excuses for like Lonzo's second year, but like there's no excuses for LaMelo.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
not be surprised if LaMelo averaged 10 assists if he gets the minutes. I'm not trying to. I wouldn't be surprised.
I think no, I don't think he'll get the minutes in the beginning of the season because what the coach, like when I was listening to the coach, he was like basically saying how it's going to be really hard for the rookies to just come out and he doesn't want them to just be there the first few games. they need to slowly get into it because this is a short off season. This isn't a regular off season.
I'm trying to
So,
tell people that. I've been
so
trying to tell people that. I said limit the expectations on all rookies this year.
yeah. So that's sort of I think it's gonna. Honestly I think they're a 10th at best the ninth seed this year, and they'll be
It really takes, and that's with Lamelo having a good rookie year.
yeah.
He could still they could still not make the playoffs with Lamelo at a rookie year. I don't think people realize how improved that East is.
Yeah.
You got to bank on 3 teams not showing up for the East to even have the chance to get the 8th seed.
You basically have to bank on Indiana getting worse and the Magic getting worse, and
And
even
that's
that,
difficult.
and
That's
and
difficult.
yeah, and they basically have 2 teams that are already replaced. Like if we think about it, they have the Heat, the Bucks, the Nets, the Hawks, the what other team? Indiana. I think Magic's gonna suck this year. Too many guys injured, so I'm gonna not have them put down. Who else? Who other guys? Oh, Philly. Yeah, Philly's so forgettable sometimes. Uh, Jesus, I mean, they have, how do I forget these teams?
Raptors.
Raptors, there we go. The Raptors. So that's 7. The Wizards, because they just added Westbrook and they have Beal. That's 8 teams who I know for sure I
Wait,
wouldn't are better.
did you add the Hawks?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's gonna be tough.
Like,
That's gonna be if the I'm telling you right now, if the Hornets found a way to even get the 9th seed, that's a win.
LaMelo's rookie of the year. If that
Yeah,
happened. Like, that would
that's a
be,
playing game.
like,
That's a
if
win.
the only way the Hornets are a 6th seed in this imaginary world is if LaMelo's averaging 20 points, somehow gets great defensively, and can shoot threes at a 37 clip his first year, which I don't think is realistic, and somehow averages 10 assists. And even that, they're going to struggle because bigger teams are going to kill them. Like, they don't have a reliable center this year who I'm going to be like, oh, I could see them totally handling bigger teams. The Lakers, they're as soon as they play the Lakers, they're food.
Oh
Pelicans,
yeah,
they're food.
that's gonna be a bad one. Let me tell you this. There've been questions about Lamelo Ball. Is he going to start or not start? I'll just say this because I tell with these rookies, man, because they have a short off season.
Yeah,
LaMelo has a skill that the other 2 guards don't have. Terry Rozier and Devontae Graham are combo guards. They're not facilitating guards.
yeah,
LaMelo's already the best facilitator. The coach even said it. And James Borrego is a tough-minded coach. He comes from the Popovich coaching tree. This
yeah,
is the same coach that says everyone has to earn minutes. Remember, a lot of people were mad because the coach and Mitch Kupchak were saying, well, we're not going to give him minutes. Right now, he's earning minutes right now from good practices. Now they're saying, oh, we like the coach. That's why I don't like stands, by the way. That's another discussion.
yeah.
But yeah, what do you see? Do you think LaMelo is going to sit on the bench or what they're going to do?
I think closing games, and this is just me saying at worst, close because I'd like to be realistic. I would like to think I'm realistic. But closing games, I don't think he would be the closer, and I wouldn't be mad. This wouldn't be like a Luke Walton situation. It'd be like, well, we need to get the for sure shooters and guys who can defend if he doesn't become a great defender at the beginning.
Yeah. Um, Terry Rozier, I know people sleep on Terry Rozier. One thing he could do, and he's done it with the Celtics, and he's actually done with the Hornets. He
Yeah.
knows how to close. For some
That
reason, he has a knack for closing. Like
yeah,
it's that gear just switch, and he goes on attack mode.
yeah.
And you'd be like, man, where was this the whole game?
He can go on fire. That's the reason, and it wouldn't even make me pissed off. It wouldn't be like Luke having Lonzo sit late in the 4th and having Tyler Ennis be playing. Like that's not the same. It's not the same
No,
situation.
not at all. Listen,
So
This is different.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't care. I just want LaMelo to be able to get to 30 minutes. I don't care. I know I could trust in LaMelo. Probably might end up closing. I don't know. It's all dependent. But I wouldn't be mad if he doesn't.
The Hornets do have options on their roster.
They
See,
they
this is a different situation than Killian Hayes and the Pistons and other guards. Killian Hayes is on a team that have more forwards and bigs than they have guards, so they'll give Killian, more access of getting probably more minutes. But it
I
just depends on Dwayne Casey, though.
I don't know because Derrick Rose, Dwayne Casey, Derrick Rose has a history of closing games. You remember last year how he did that to the Pelicans, how he did that to a few teams, where he would just do like nice floaters and just kill people with the mid range and just kill people with magical threes. I think Dwayne Casey is probably gonna allow Derrick Rose to get the last game, play with Blake Griffin.
Now that you're saying it, I think that's possible. I think it's possible. I'm just saying how Dwayne Casey is. The brother old school, man.
It makes me mad that the Knicks didn't get Lamelo or Killian. But then again, I'm kind of happy, like, cause I don't know, I'm kind of happy they didn't get him. Now that I think about it.
No, because if you get, I'm telling you, if you get the sweepstakes, aka, the number one pick. I'm telling you, man, Cunningham, and I know people like, oh, it's the Knicks, and Cunningham is the type of guard that will fix a franchise.
Oh, yeah, and you know what's crazy? If it would be way more devastating next year if we don't the Knicks don't get number one. That would just be way more because then there's not a clear number two guy I've seen that would be great with the Knicks roster.
No, Cunningham is the one for the Knicks if they could get him.
Yeah, man. Let me turn this. Someone's calling.
Oh, okay.
So hold up. Let me. How do you? Can you mute? Can you mute it or?
Yeah. I speak on it. Wait, let me do it real quick.
I'm in the house, doing my podcast with them.